Hi everyone, Mike Flores here on behalf of iTradingU. Today we're going to go over the charts of the week. We're going to start with the E-mini S&P market, and you hear people talk about sell in May and go away. Well, I don't like to just sell in May and go away. I want the market to tell me that I should sell in May and go away. Now looking at the E-mini S&P market, we can see that it closed weak on Friday, but it's still above the 50-day and 200-day moving averages, which to me means that the trend is still currently in an uptrend. We made new highs for the week, and we're also flirting with the 55-day high up here. There's something else I want to take note of, and it's the fact that the blue chip indexes, the E-mini S&P and the E-mini Dow Jones, have outperformed the E-mini Nasdaq and the Russell 2000. Now, this is important to note because the losses for the S&P and the Dow Jones were less than half of that of the Nasdaq and the Russell during the down move. So that's telling me that fundamentally the blue chip stocks still have some strength in them. All the economic data that came out for the week, this past week, was pretty strong and not indicating of a imminent downturn in the market. So I like to let price indicate when to get out. So the way I'm going to play this is I'll look to buy the S&P, the E-mini S&P, on a break of the 55-day high. I'll put it in order to buy on the day it breaks out with a stop at the low of the day, of the breakout day. Now that chart looks very similar to the E-mini Dow Jones chart. And looking at that chart here, you can see the pattern is very similar. And I'd do the same order there. I'd put the same thing, buy on the day that it breaks out with a stop of the low of that day. Now, whichever one breaks out first, I'll cancel the order in the other market. Let's move on. Let's talk about sterling yen. Sterling yen, we can see, is flirting with its 55-day high here, and it's had a nice move down on Friday, but again, it's still above its 50-day and 200-day moving average. As well, notice how the ADX turned blue, and we're kind of in a little bit of an uptrend in this market. Again, because we're above the 50-day and 200-day moving average. And as long as we stay above this trend line and this 50-day moving average, I'm going to look for a long setup. So again, I'll buy on the break of the 55-day high with a stop at the low of the day. Let's look at high-grade copper. Now looking at the copper market, the only reason why I'm pointing it out is because this market tends to be a good indicator in what's happening to the overall economy. So we saw a few months ago the markets crashed, and we noticed that copper crashed as well. Now we can see copper consolidated and is slowly rebounding, and I'm looking for it to take out first the 20-day low. And then more importantly, let's see what happens when it gets around the 200-day moving average. Notice the slope of the line is flat. So at the moment, the 200-day moving average is providing some key resistance to this market. And minor resistance is the 20-day high. So if it can break through the 20-day high and then break through the 200-day moving average, that'll be really bullish for copper, but it'll also be bullish for the markets. So let's watch copper very closely and see how it performs over the next week. Now I want to take you to the sugar market. Looking at the sugar market, we see here that we have a symmetrical triangle formation. I'm just going to draw it here. And the way I'd play this one is I would sell on a break of the low with my stop at the high, or I'd buy at a break of the high with my stop at the low. Okay? So if we break through this low here, I'll get short, and my stop will be the high of the day, and vice versa. And basically, I'm looking for the width of the triangle to be my take profit level. So whatever the width of the breakout is what I'm looking to project lower or project higher. Could be a one-day trade, a two-day trade. Notice here we have the 50-day and 200-day moving averages on the top side, telling us we're currently in a downtrend. And notice we close weekly on Friday. So I'm going to feel that we're probably going to get a break to the downside first. Most likely to that side. So again, that's another good setup that I see there. Let's go to the dollar Mexican chart. Now I'm pulling this chart up because the seasonality in the Mexican currency, the bullish seasonality in the Mexican currency is expiring this week. So Mexican peso was bullish going until mid-March or first week of March against the dollar. Notice here over the past 5 or 6 days we've closed lower and we've opened, and we're flirting with the 55-day low. The ADX has just gone blue slightly, and we are below the 50-day and 200-day moving average. So if we get near this 55-day low, I'd sell on a break of this low and put my stop at the high of the breakout day. Also, this would be a risk-on trade, meaning that if the stock market continues to rally, the S&P and the Dow, we should see people put more assets into riskier currencies, high-yielding currencies, in order to get yield. It's a yield play. So this would then coincide with being short dollar Mexican. So this is something else that I'm looking at very closely. Next, let's look at the TNotes. What we have here is a 10-year T-note futures, and really it's been a very volatile and erratic picture over the past couple months. We can see we've had a lot of noise, but what I'm looking at now is that we've had about 8 or 9 days of higher closes, and the market's looking pretty strong overall. We see that with the trend line, we're going higher here. So this line is a very important line that I'm watching. We're closed above the 50-day moving average, we're above the 200-day moving average, and the 55-day and 20-day highs are very close by. I'd really look to buy in a break of the 55-day high, but for now I'm just stalking this market. I'm just watching it closely to see how it trades. I would like to see the ADX move into blue territory and go up when this break happens. Lastly, let's look at the wheat market. The wheat market, again, as well, has had a lot of volatility over the past couple months, and we had a nice big move coming from the beginning of the year. We saw a bit of a retracement, and now it's rallying back up. And again, we're flirting with the 55-day high here as well. We're above the 50-day and 200-day moving average, and the ADX is flat, but if we get up here, I'm sure this will turn blue and positive. So I look to buy this one on a breakout as well, and my stop at the low of the day. So these are the markets that I'm looking at to see for the week, to see what's going on, the key markets that I'll be watching. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them on the blog post below in the comment section and tell me what you guys are thinking, or any markets that you're watching or stalking currently. I'm always interested in your feedback and hearing how other traders trade the markets. All right, so this is Mike Flores on behalf of iTradingU, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks and have a good one.